Hey, welcome to another episode of Life Changers. Thanks for checking in with us. This is where we left off on the last episode. We're talking about my first company, and now we're going to talk a little bit more about self-sabotage, because that's a big thing when you're doing your own thing and you're self-employed. Without even realizing it, a lot of people do it. So one of the ways I caught, and I notice now that I'm out of it, and I lived it, been there, done that, but we just got to pay attention to that. And I'm just going to talk more about it, because even though I landed all those contracts and all these things, as they say, I was never all in. So we're only relevant at certain times of the year. So I need a real job. I don't need to focus on this all the time. So I would have a real job delivering pizzas and Chinese food. And I had other jobs. And even my business partner at the time, he had a real job, as we say, and that we would focus on our company at a certain time of years, and we'd make good money, but we were never all in. And I only got into all in after 18 years or so, where I realized what I was doing, which is self-sabotage. We all do it. It's either we're going to recognize it or not. So take a look in the mirror, everybody. You could pause the video, look in the mirror, and ask yourself these two questions. Am I not successful because I choose not to be successful, or am I not successful because I choose to self-sabotage? So back to the first question is, do I choose not to be successful? You guys might be like, whoa there, Mike. I choose to be successful. Just like you chose to be successful with your first company and you launched it and you trust the universe and you went forth. So I choose to be successful. But yeah, I chose to be successful. Everybody wants to be successful. But we have to live it that we are successful. So when you say, I choose to be successful, you're going to be like, I am successful. I create success. And you're going to move forward and watch for the self-sabotage, because the one thing, and trust me, it's going to get real good in later, but the one big thing in the end is we are all programmed one way or another, okay? They're not programmed like, programmed like a computer. No. We're all programmed the way we were brought up. So we self-sabotage because we don't think we deserve it, subconsciously. And I know that for a fact, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that I self-sabotaged myself so many times, and I made up so many excuses. Some of the excuses would be like, well, I'm just not meant to be, right? I'm not meant that contract, or this and that. And we just keep on making up excuses for the reasons why we're not successful, or why we didn't get that. Or, even though I've been doing this for 20 years, I could still see ways that I'm self-sabotaging myself, or, being lazy, or using other excuses, where I had a customer call me and ask me to split up the quotes for different departments on some contracts we're working on. And it's a, pretty good amount. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll get to it. I said, hey, do you need me to do it right away? He's like, well, the sooner you send it to me, I can knock it out and get you all your POs, and then we can move forward with this contracts. And I was like, great, no problem. Well, I just found myself sitting around watching, YouTube or TikToks and stuff like that, letting time waste by without even doing the work that I need to do. So now I'm going to have to work later tonight to get her done. Yeah. And I recognize it. Even though I recognize it, I see things, I understand a lot, and I'm learning a lot, I see it still creeping up, how my mind and my body just wants to go back to its regular, comfortable state of, hey, let's be lazy today. You're successful. You achieved everything. At least I think I achieved everything, but there's always a lot more to learn about any business that you want to start. And a lot of the things that we're going to talk about in the next few episodes can help you overcome certain things for starting your own company. But, and you may notice the theme of that we're bringing into is a lot of taking responsibility for ourselves, because everybody blames everybody. I used to be like, hey, the reason why I'm not successful is because, well, this person did this to me and this person did that, right? So it's not my fault. You know what? We just got to take responsibility. And I take responsibility, and I understand that from the beginning, if I listened to my inner self, screaming at me going, hey, don't do it. You probably remember the story in one of the previous episodes, how I was saying that I felt like, no, I shouldn't bring this guy on. I could do it myself. And I just ignored like, hey, and brought him on. And then, well, now we're 50-50 partners. And I didn't think in the end it's a bad thing, but hey, there's your first sign. If somebody's willing to manipulate you in that way, well, there should be your first sign. But hey, I was young and dumb, and I just thought I couldn't do anything because I'm so smart. But there's always a lot to learn, and you got to trust your inner self or your gut or your soul whenever the little voice is like, hey, don't do that. And I see the setback. I see the setback. It was a 10-year setback that if I've meditated, relaxed and just thought about where I would have been if I actually listened at the beginning, and I'd be in a totally different place. We'll get more into that, but I just really want to stress that in the end, we got to take responsibility and understand that there's self-sabotage going on, and there's a lot of signs. You might notice it, you might feel it. Just look into yourself and be like, hey, what am I doing? How do I fix this? How do we turn it around? Because I want to be my 100% self and just go with the flow.